Hello, this is Cara from Lady Cara Tarot with another Wednesday walkthrough. This time, Tarô dos Contos de Fadas, the Tarot of Victor Valentin. And it is a Portuguese deck, and the guidebook is all in Portuguese. Now, I did do a flip-through, a pretty comprehensive flip-through of this deck, and that was only 3 months ago, and here I am doing a walkthrough. And the reason being, I worked with this last month, and I came to the conclusion that I'm not vibing with it. And actually got a compliment from my friend Ina at Taproot Tarot, saying that she kind of admired the way that when I'm not vibing with something, I move it on. And well, and that's very sweet. And I hadn't really thought of it in that way before, so it's funny to have someone who likes you, a friend who kind of names something about you that that you think is true, and that they value and that you value too. That's always nice. So again, the book is all in Portuguese. I'm looking for the name of the artist. It's here somewhere. Well, I'm not seeing it. I mentioned it in the flip through. So it comes with a nice little bookmark as well. I believe I just got this on Amazon. There are many, many different spreads in this deck, and this is one I'm actually going to take a picture of before I pass this deck on. And I already have a taker for it, so sorry, but that's it's already spoken for, and it's one of the reasons I'm just going ahead and doing my walkthrough, my observations about it, and working with it. So that is a, you know, I like big spreads, so that's that little Fairytale Castle spread. But there are many other spreads. They're actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 spreads, which is great. The guidebook has the beautiful artwork. It's computer artwork. It is not AI. I checked that out before. It took me a while to find it, but I did find that out. Even in the minors, you have a full page and you have quotes. You know I love quotes. So there are many, many things that I liked about it. I'll flip through the cards. And it also comes with a little bag. I think you saw that. I just didn't mention it. So nice box. The inside of the box, like a lot of these like this, seems to tear with very little. It takes very little for that to happen because I don't handle my decks roughly. And so a lovely bookmark. And so I'm going to just do a flip through. I think it's out of order. I'm pretty sure it's out of order. It's shiny cardstock. You can probably see that. Lovely backs with fairies. Now, it's funny. I was saying that I'm kind of into Fae energy right now. And by virtue of being a fairy tale deck, it's a Fae deck also. However, I have come to other conclusions about this, beyond being Fae energy. So these are out of order. I'm setting some of these aside and for talking about later. beautiful depiction of that. If you're someone who likes framing and borders, and I do, that's something else that's really lovely about this deck. And the last time I read with this, I read reversals. That's why it's mixed up. Wonderful devil card. A favorite Chariot card, but I like the Chariot in most decks anyway. Merlin and Arthur, the Hierophant card. I think this is one of the most beautiful Eight of Wands cards that I've seen. The majority of the swords suit takes place on Captain Hook's boat in this deck. Sweet Hansel and Gretel, or the Six of Cups. Death is the death of Snow White. Another beautiful depiction. They're really lovely pictures in this deck. That's why I got it. I got it because there were so many lovely and fairly traditional depictions, although I'd say it's definitely about 30% Disney infused. So the Three of Cups, the good fairies around the cradle of Sleeping Beauty. Interesting. I mentioned in the flip through and in some of my recent commentaries some of the things that bother me with this deck, which make it not for me. The Lovers and the Two of Cups. If you know The Little Mermaid, it makes me wonder if they really read the story. In The Little Mermaid, the original story, he marries someone else, and because she's not willing to kill him to get her powers back, she fades away and becomes sort of like an air sprite and has to do 300 good deeds. It's either 300 good deeds or 300 years of good deeds to then become part of whatever higher power there is. This is not someone, I came across it and I said, he is not worthy. I've got a problem with that right away. So right away, there's the card that you would normally think that's about choice, and the highest choice is actually a really bad choice. Compare it to the Two of Cups. Now, the kissing people you don't know while they're sleeping notwithstanding, because that's a whole nother aspect of fairy tales in general. But this would be, if you're looking at the pairing, he is an honorable person. He fought through the briars to get to her. He worked for her, and it's just as blithely assumed in the story that she's going to love him because he's a handsome prince. But that's not exclusive to this story. That's a larger issue that goes on with fairy tales. But my point is, so we have worthy and unworthy, and that this is the major. So that's point number one to think about. This is a glorious depiction of the devil. It occurred to me that sort of works into my point as well. Let's look at the kings. So we have the King of Wands, the King of Cups, the King of Swords, and the King of Gold, which is the Pentacles suit in this deck. Now, I'm not entirely sure which king this is. I haven't looked that up. As I understand it, this is a good king. As I remember The Little Mermaid, this is a good king. She has a good relationship with him. I think this is supposed to be the deceased father in Snow White, also good king, and the father stand-in, the woodsman who determines not to save her, in other words, and instead of killing her and bringing her heart to the evil queen, he puts the heart of another animal in there. So all the kings are good. And then we have the queens. Evil queen. I think that's the evil stepmother from Cinderella. Evil queen. Looking very much like a computerized portrait of Pink, playing that role. Queen of Swords, Maleficent, and Evil Queen, the old lady who is the evil queen in the guise of an old lady taking the apple to Snow White. So all of the queens are evil. So when I put that together with this, to me, this is not even so much a Fae deck as a shadow deck. It's about the dark side of when every single queen is evil. It's about the dark side of life, because usually the queens are the saving grace of any deck, and the lightest. And then we had this evil queen, who I believe is supposed to be Maleficent in her normal guise, again, holding the poison apple. Now, again, this is, maybe my language failed me, but even with a translator, this was talking about evil, and you have this, you know, red and danger colors around her. So that's the Empress. So all of the feminine energy in this deck, the major feminine energy is on the dark side. And you know me, that's not what I work with. So this is, that's an issue for me. It's not for the person I'm giving it to. And then that's, you know, it is a lovely deck. I think you have to be, and I debated, I thought, well, I could keep it as a shadow deck. And then I thought, you know, I don't really, I'm kind of more on the, I have very few decks that I keep for an exclusive type of reading, and I don't really focus or promote shadow readings. I would do a shadow reading if it comes up as within a reading. That's how it would flow for me. So I'm not seeking that out. And but that's me, you know, other people do their own stuff. So this is going to someone who likes these aspects of this deck, and I'll probably reorder it first. So I just wanted to give you that, you know, the walkthrough of it. It is, as I recall, not a very expensive deck. It's a mass market deck. But again, as I said, I think I was able to get this through regular Amazon, not even Portuguese Amazon. If you noticed a little bit of a jump there, I went to see, it is available on Amazon. It has gone up since I got it, and I'm sure that's due to tariffs, because I got this before all the tariffs hit. And so I think it's gone up, the price there has gone up about $20. But, so it's on the more expensive side for a mass market deck because it's Portuguese. And so the tariff costs were included in there. I mean, Amazon did actually, surprisingly, remember when a couple months ago, Amazon actually had a statement about, in comparison, saying this is how much this item was before tariffs, this is how much the item is now, and then they were pressured to take that down. But so anyway, all that to say, you know, it is still available, easily available, because it's available on Amazon. So this is one that, it's lovely. And I will tell you that I was influenced because I saw it on Instagram. And I saw it, it was with someone that was showing a card a day. And I just kept thinking, I love this kind of a border within this kind of frame. I'd call it a frame within the border. I love that kind of thing. And I thought that the artwork was very beautiful. And it is, you know, picture after picture, I'll look at it still and see it online and think, oh, gorgeous. It's a gorgeous deck. And it is. But I have plenty of gorgeous decks. And for me, as I've said before, if I have 2 or 3 decks that kind of fit into that same niche, and there's some that I like better than others, I'm like, let the other one go. Let someone else enjoy it and work with it. And especially for me, when it has elements or a vibe that I'm not particularly interested in, there are people for whom that vibe is just their bag, and that's great. And so, as I said, I'm moving it on and to somebody who's happy to receive it. And so I just wanted to do this walkthrough before it leaves my hands. So especially since I just worked with it last month, and you had seen me working with it last month, that you can see how those pieces came together for me. Oh, I'm going to add a shadow quote here because I was watching a woman that I just started following. I actually shared her post. she's an integrative psychologist that studied with Jung, and uh, definitely in the crone territory. And she had a wonderful phrase that was, anything that you criticize or you negatively judge has a mirror in it. So she was talking about the shadow. And so I thought that's a perfect way to wrap up this particular coverage of this particular deck. This is Kara from Lady Kara Tarot. Have a magical day, and any shadows that you stumble upon, may you easily work through them. Thank you.